What I hope to do in the next few minutes is look at some kind of mega trends in the world of broadband internet video, and then some of the challenges and opportunities that arise in the production chain for internet video, in the creation of it, the management, storage and distribution of it, and also some issues to do with the consumption of internet video. The growth of internet video is extraordinary. Well, this slide that I've got here from Cisco shows that growth up to 2015. Video used in the user-generated and in the premium content space is really moving very fast indeed. There again, Colin's point that video is growing faster, about 48% compound annual growth, faster than non-video internet content, which is growing at about 26% compound annual growth in Australia. So this is a very significant development indeed. And of course, user-generated content is a key part of that and a significant part of the traffic. And it's very significant in my view because it really heralds the democratisation of the production of video. When you think about it, video for most of the history of video has been produced by institutions and corporations. And this technology we're dealing with this afternoon has liberated the production, distribution and consumption of that powerful medium in a quite profound way. Ways which are humanity enhancing, video taken on a mobile telephone which set a whole new scene, and of course that kind of technology drove pretty much the Arab Spring and the developments that occurred in the Arab nations of North Africa in the last couple of years. And of course more recently the innocence of Muslims, user-generated production which has caused so much difficulty and produced some tragedy in terms of deaths and so on in various parts of the world. So we're talking this afternoon about serious, important media which has consequences in the real world, both life-affirming but also dangerous and difficult consequences. The second area which I wanted to look at beyond user-generated content and its impact is the popularity of premium content. In that growth of content that we looked at in Australia, content which is essentially premium television content is a very large proportion. In the evenings in America, maybe up to 40% of broadband online traffic is Netflix, and Netflix is movies and television programs. iPlayer at the BBC, 90 million videos monthly, a year-on-year growth of 80%, mostly television programs. These are big figures, and these are figures based on programming which until recently was the preserve of the big broadcasting institutions, public and private. So you have a Janus-faced EPG looking to the future, but also being able to look to the past, weeks, months past. But I think the future of high bandwidth video is to make use of both the one-to-one connectivity that is delivered by online networks and the extraordinary efficiency of the delivery of large files through the terrestrial broadcast mode. And I think the challenge and interesting aspect of this for high bandwidth broadband connectivity and development is to work out which platform does the best thing at the best cost and to make advantage of the blend between the platforms that are available. The final big trend, along with just the growth, the use of premium content, is this question of regulation and policy, which I've been involved in through the Convergence Review. Video, as I think I've suggested already, is a very powerful social thing, for good and potential bad. It is always going to be regulated. One-to-one communication, telephony, telecommunications, we were much more interested in the connectivity than we were in the content. The content was private business. There's never been any real regulation of content on one-to-one communication linkages and connectivity. That's now all changed because it's not just the broadcasters who are carrying content, it is also the one-to-one linkages. And that is a cultural shift for the telecommunications industry and to some degree for the new media industry that people are finding quite difficult. People couldn't quite get the point of why the community's expectation about the policy framework and regulation of content, powerful, difficult, intrusive, sometimes dangerous, often delightful content, why that was now intruding into other platforms beyond broadcasting. The reason is because those other platforms are now carrying the sort of content that in the entire history of video on traditional platforms has been regulated, and communities have demanded regulation at certain levels. The whole new freedom of content creation in the video mode, an explosive development and one that I think is wholly good. The explosion of creativity that comes from this capability being in the hands of ordinary citizens is amazing. What does this mean then for those hoary old concepts which are not in favour in the digital world? Copyright. But it's a difficult issue, and it affects developers and others involved beyond regulators because applications and functionality need to take account of the sort of requirements that regulators and others are likely to put on apps. And a special one is the area of classification. When you can watch on the family television screen anything on the internet, do you have an interest in there being some kind of recognition that classification is important? Let's look at content management and distribution. Going back to television again, television, 80 years of history, pretty much close to. Problem with these processes in the production chain of video acquisition, content management, storage and hosting and delivery is that in the online world, there's no history. There's no clear way of doing it. Many people who consume, we mustn't be too wide-eyed about this, the consumption of high bandwidth video or indeed any online video is still in many ways a nightmare. That's my final message, and I suppose the message is in two parts. Broadband online video has great promise, even greater promise if it is developed in association with the NBN and high bandwidth connectivity for all Australians. But we're only in the foothills. They're the foothills. We're only in the foothills of this development. There's great scope for new ideas, technologies and applications, and ACBI is here to work with you in this exciting area. Thank you.